The recording has begun.
Nice.
Well, hello people. This is Gameweek 4 of the Good Guys podcast. You saw our excellent upskilling in production quality last week, and we've gone back to Gameweek 1 quality already.
We've regressed, but our technical expert, aka BV, is on the tired side, so that's fair play.
I just can't be asked.
You might also note the welcome absence of Dan. He's presently
join us.
Presently he's eating food. He will join us soon. So
really
get excited. Yeah.
Get excited, or get your FPL knowledge while you can, and then once he's zoned in, you're all gonna have to tap out now.
Well, look who it is.
Hey, I'm gonna need to move my lamp again.
FYI, we're rolling.
We're rolling. We're going. Yeah. Say hello.
Fuck me. Hi.
Yeah, that'll do. Right, yeah. So essentially, we'll do a quick go through of how our game week 3s went individually, and then maybe just say some thoughts about what we're thinking for game week 4. Maybe comment on the popular themes.
We'll riff off some, shall we? I'm going to put a disclaimer out there. I was even willing to drop out like 5 minutes before we were planning to do this. I was willing to just go, I'll do this without me. That's the level of I can't be asked.
This might be the most disengaging intro a YouTube video has ever had.
Yeah, I mean, some shit that it's rolling. I'm just sorting out.
The issue with Dan is he'll never learn where the mute button is or the camera up. He could easily have just got himself ready while muted or all this, but no, we hear his cough.
We'll hear through. Yeah. No, to be fair, Dan, this is all your own fault. You said you'd be here and then you weren't here. So,
yeah,
there you go. That's all we got. Right. So whilst Dan, whilst you get your team up or whatever, I might as well share my screen to begin because I think I had the best game week tonight.
How come we're on Skype and not OBS?
Yeah, essentially that's it. We've regressed the quality essentially, but that's fine. Right, I'm going to share my screen. Is this working, fellas? Can we see everything?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh, we don't want that up. We'll cover that a little bit later. We don't want that up either. This is what we want up. So I managed to get myself a 59-point game week, which is a little bit above the average, and it looks around the higher end of FPL content creators and things. So I've had quite a good game week.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. I mean, I'm over the moon with how everything.
Rodrigo, man, I bloody hate that guy.
Yeah, I mean, Rodrigo is the main reason why I'm doing well.
Because he's a differential, so he only really affects Joe. But it'd just be nice to have a game week that isn't utter dross. So it must be nice.
He's not much of a differential. I mean, for us guys, he's a good
What's
guy.
His ownership?
He's up to like 20% now, I think.
Right.
21. He started at 1% and he's now on 21.4%.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just kick you in the balls? Fantastic.
The thing that kicks me in the balls most is the fact that I also remember I put it in our group chat. I was eyeing him up at the deadline. I was like, Rodrigo actually doesn't look like a bad shout.
You didn't have the ball.
Pre-season and the fixtures, and I was just like, well, I might gonna go Rodrigo, and here I am.
Well, Doherty is your differential. Rodrigo.
There's Doherty's ownership. Yeah, so Doherty was at 1%. Rodrigo was at 1%. Rodrigo's now 21%, and Doherty I think is at 0.5%.
To be fair, given I still own him, it kind of hurt me to make that.
I mean, he's gone down to I think Doherty's gone down to 4.8 and Rodrigo's on 6.3, which is a bit of a shame.
I thought you were going to say 4.7 for a second, and I was just going to cry.
But he might have got down more, I don't know. But,
yeah, I might cave and just buy Rodrigo at this point.
You probably should.
Purple patch might end now.
I don't know. He's on pens as well, isn't he?
Let me show you.
I mean, I thought Gross was on pens, and then Gross didn't take the penalty.
If I actually end up buying Rodrigo, that means it's not just a purple patch. So it kind of feels
if we look at Rodrigo's non-penalty XGI, He's third in the league, which
And
means
they do have real good fixtures lead still.
he's third in the league behind De Bruyne and Jesus. Now, this indicates that it's not just him. I mean, he is overperforming quite a lot by 0.274. Obviously, he's got 5 goals and assists from 2.26 XGI. But it's still really very strong. And so, if you're going to base it off the statistics, you'd expect that.
Scroll down a little bit. Let's see who else is on there. Hopefully, some signs.
Well, we're getting less, interesting the further down we go. But I mean, I can go all the way down if you want.
Go on, let's see bottom for non-rotation. That's a good scout. That's what we want to know.
Load of 0, boys. There we go.
I want to Saka's little head.
Oh, you won't find him. He'll be down here somewhere. Where is he?
Trossard
there he is. 0.85 XGI so far this season.
Behind James Milner.
A stat which I do think is quite interesting is if we look at this delta here, so that shows how much they've over or underperformed their XGI. Down at the bottom is a young Trent Alexander-Arnold, which I suppose is reassuring because usually he's an overperformer.
What about Robbo? How's Robbo doing?
I don't know if he's going to be on here somewhere. Where is Robbo? Has he just not created much?
He just built up areas.
There he is. Just minus 0.34. So he's actually not really done very much in terms of creating XGI as of yet. That might change against Bournemouth. But we'll have to see. You'd expect that from Trent, though, given that, I mean, Bruno's been hit hard. Yeah, if you look at Trent sorry, Brent, just to finish off. A lot of Trent's is coming from XA, if we look in this one here. So he's the worst for, his XA, which hasn't been converted. So that's largely on the finishing of the people he's given the ball to. So it's good that he's still creating some stuff. So the returns will come. So yeah, keep your Trents, guys. What were you saying, Baron?
I was going to just share a tweet from Big Man Bakar. And Big Man Bakar posted that Trent was... So among defenders... in the first 3 game weeks. Oh, Joe, you're sharing multiple screens.
I'm thinking, should I stop sharing? Do you want to show something?
Yeah. A tip: never share video of us. That's actually a corporate tip, not even an FPL tip. That's a cardinal sin at work. If you share your screen of sharing a Teams call with other people on the Teams call. Because then it just creates this mirror effect, and it just keeps tunneling.
Ooh,
and it's not nice because you also you're looking back at yourself. But anyway, so Trent ranks in the first 3 game weeks. He ranks first for chances created, first for big chance involvements, first for XA, first for XG, first for touches in the final third amongst defenders. So actually, he's due. Annoyingly, that didn't come as my differential of the week. He did nothing this week. So, yeah, realistically, we should probably just treat him, set and forget, even if Liverpool are showing. Just stick with him. It's only once his actual XG.
What about Robertson? What are your boys' thoughts on Robertson?
I want to change my team massively and just go for something. So I'm happy to sack off Robertson at 7 mil.
You know what I'm thinking about? I'm really tossing and turning, to be honest with you. Because, being at 2.3 mil, it's not going great. Can't lie.
It's not the worst.
Well, yeah, it's not the worst either. I mean, do you really shake things up and, get rid of the players who haven't, tickled you? But then you always play the risk of you throw out everything, and then suddenly next week you find that everything suddenly just performs. It's I think the epitome of what my internal debate, it's like Bukayo Saka. He's the spearhead, almost the symbol of this, because I love the lad, to be honest with you. And he could, they're playing like Fulham at home, Arsenal next week. Saka could then just get amongst the goals, and then I'd be kicking myself, and I'd be like, oh, sorry, I ever doubted you, Kayo. So then I keep him in, because I want that point, and I believe in you, boy. But then what happens if game week 4 blank, game week 5, it's just not quite enough, and then you never know what to do, and it feels like a catch-22, to be honest.
Do you know, Dan, I've got something quite interesting to say to us. You know your god FPL mate?
Yeah.
He's posted a buy-sell keep avoid today. And there's a couple of interesting things. Number one, in the sell section, we've got Bukayo Saka. And in the avoid section, we've got Dean Henderson. The two loves of your team are both get rid of him or don't buy him in the eyes of your leader. They've got to go.
I really value Dan, FPL mate, for you. But to be fair, I did remember when Dan said buy a player, and then off the back of that, I was like, that's some good points. Bought a player. The next week he said avoid the same player, and then the week he said sell him. Thinking, oh, me. That just wasn't business.
Joe, out of curiosity, who was Dan's 2 other buys?
2 other buys?
An FPL mate. Oh, FPL mate suggested that you buy Rodrigo this week and that you buy Perisic this week.
Not Doherty.
No, definitely not Doherty. It's just because Perisic has shown that he can start and he's attacking a lot. But he did say there's a caveat, what with his rotation with Spurs' European fixtures coming up.
And I really am tossing and turning because I'm almost my own biggest head fuck. That's the best way of just summing it up. Because composure's a big one for me in the past. I'll shake things up too much. I'm a very emotional player. I've got a lot of emotion in me, but that's not necessarily a good thing. Composure when FPL just does things. It's difficult. But, yes, my team isn't optimized. But then I always seem to rush into stuff. I mean, it's like even Kane, who because when I was on therapy session to you, Joe, and after I saw just how sick Haaland was doing in that Bournemouth game, and everyone's like, no, Kane, and I'm like, realistically, I really want to sell Kane, but maybe I just should go against all logic that I'm feeling. And then I watched the highlights later, and I'm like, well, I mean, that just is going against all logic, so I can't punish myself like that. And then somehow Kane's outperformed Haaland. So, and then even getting rid of Leon Bailey for Eze, Leon Bailey scored higher. My transfers have just lost me points in them. Now I'm thinking the solution's to really shake things up.
Yeah, that's not really learning your lesson, to be fair. But to be fair, that's interesting that you mentioned the Kane and Haaland, because I think a decent point of discussion, at least I was actually thinking of making just a video of this on my own, is the potential of getting rid of Haaland either this week or in the coming weeks for a certain Mr. Harry Kane, or maybe even...
Oh, no, there is no way how I'm doing that. I can just see points dodging up.
You're just doing it for the fear factor, man. There's decent arguments.
I mean, if I see tomorrow that Haaland starts against Barcelona, then yeah, I could take a hit for selling Haaland this week.
Kane's coming in for me. I think if Haaland plays the game, Kane's coming in.
I don't know if I'd actually bring in Kane.
I can't bring back Kane. If I brought back Kane, I would have ducked Haaland's double-digit haul, then bought to avoid Kane's back-to-back 9 pointers or whatever, to then just go back to him, and then he'd probably disappoint. I just can't live with it.
I mean, I'll say why for Dan, because I know Dan won't know this. Barham, you probably will know. The Pep press conference where he said, yeah, Haaland will not play all of these games. Julian Alvarez, I'll be happy to play him for some of these.
Julian Alvarez will start.
He will start, yeah. So obviously we don't know which games it'll be, whether it's this friendly against Barcelona, whether it's some of the Champions League games, maybe he'll play all of the Prem ones. You never know. Sorry, go on.
See, now my gut after you saying that is saying, well, hold on a minute. If I got rid of Robertson, Saka, Doherty, Eze because he was a punt. Haaland got rid of like 5 players, wildcarded, shuffled up the team, get it looking spick and span. That seems to be what Logic's saying, but it's just so. Because my
I think you've got to make a wildcard team, Dan.
What?
You just got to make a team that you think. You've got to make a, like, if you could wildcard now, you've got to make a what would my team be? And then, how many transfers have you got? 2? Oh, no, 1.
But then, like, realistically.
Think about those players you've just listed there. Robertson's got a Bournemouth game. Saka's got a Fulham game. Haaland, if he doesn't play midweek, has got a Crystal Palace game at home. Doherty, bench him or get rid of him.
I mean, he has Forest if he started, but obviously I'm going to have to go.
He won't play, yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to play.
Imagine it.
If he's the one transfer you make and he plays and hauls.
If I got rid of him and then he played this week, I think I'd be filled.
Oh, I can't wait until Doherty becomes a buy for FPL, mate.
Oh, if I somehow got rid of Doherty this week, he starts and then he's everyone's buy next week, I'm going to genuinely fucking kill myself inside. I think I'd just find a box of Kleenex and just cry in the bathroom. So, a really manly and composed response.
Yeah. What else do we want to talk about, lads?
What are you doing, Barham? I've not heard you give your own personal whatever there.
Right. What's my team? Let's see it. So my team for last week was the same as Joe's, but take away Rodrigo's points and then +1 for whatever Cucurella got, because that's what Cucurella got.
Oh.
So I was 12 points behind Joe. Did Rodrigo get a 13-pointer?
He did indeed.
So 12 points behind Joe because Cucurella conceded, thankfully, just the 3. Just the 3. So he massively outperformed Cancelo and Trent, who both got a yellow and conceded 2 and 3 respectively.
I tell you what, for big at the back, that isn't a promising return.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
5 defenders.
Yeah.
Money. See that.
I saw a stat for that. I think it's like the 10 premium defenders combined for 3 points or something like that.
Oh well, yeah. My premium defenders combined for 3 points.
Yeah. That's bad.
So, the bigger the back was shocking. So, I mean, really, I should hold on to this. I do think this is a week to actually not pull the trigger. It was just a variance week. You get those in the season. You get these ranks of 5 mil. They're going to come. It's not really a panic moment. They're all good players. Leicester are shocking. But what does put me off the Chelsea double up is that, I mean, to quote other FPL podcasters, Leicester games always start 1-1. That is the theory that I've heard for the past year. And actually, weirdly, it's really coming to truth. They are terrible defensively.
Yeah.
But they've got a goal in them.
Leicester always score, man.
They always score and they always concede. So I don't back my Chelsea boys for a clean sheet here, especially if Chelsea don't sign Fofana. I could see Reece James then slotting in at right centre-back while Koulibaly's suspended. Or maybe them just switching to a 4 at the back. And then I don't really see returns for them as attacking-wise. All it is would just be if I got a goal off a corner, not a goal, but an assist for those 2 wing-backs off the corner. Because they're both on, respectively, left and right corners. So, yeah, but they're not get-rids. Obviously, look at the fixtures to come. That's what I bought them in for. Southampton, West Ham, Fulham. But actually, Fulham at home.
I don't think they.
Fulham away defensively is a red fixture.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I think you don't back them to clean sheet any of those games, especially with the disarray they're in at the moment. Yeah, you got James for his offensive threat, realistically.
Considering Cucurella was bought in a week ago. Last game.
Well, I think because Chelsea looked promising against Spurs, but the fact that they were just so crap against Leeds.
See, that's the thing. One thing I am glad about is, again, my ideas are full of shit. Because if I was going to take a hit or something, I was thinking, oh, God.
One thing I'm glad about.
No, honestly, last week, right, I was seeing the fact that James, obviously quite high effective ownership. I don't own any Chelsea defenders. And here's me thinking last week, I was tossing and turning, thinking, God, it'd be so good if I could afford James, but I just don't have the budget. And I was thinking, Cucurella, I'm seeing him doing things. Should I take it in? And I was like, if only Doherty had not dropped down. And I was like, I want these Chelsea defenders, but I just can't find a way. So I was almost forced to be composed, even though I didn't want to be. And then they just combined for 2 points.
No, well, the major issue comes in Tuchel being a massive idiot in that Leeds game. I mean, it was obviously unlucky that Kante is injured, because Kante is literally like our De Bruyne, our Salah, our KDB, because we're a defensive team. Kante is key to
suspended now too. That can't help.
Key to our the way we play. So by Kante being out, he then had to replace Kante with 2 midfielders, which was Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Gallagher, and they're just not at the level. And then that means he slotted Reece James into right centre back, which we need Reece James to push us forward and to put the balls in, and sort of to get us out of defence and worry and pin back that other wing back. Ruben Loftus-Cheek isn't going to outpace whoever's the wing back. So yeah, it was just a shambles all round, and he didn't switch it up. I do think he's probably learnt his lesson, and I would not get rid of James, because I do feel that Tuchel's now just going to go, right, well, I'm going to have to either pay 80 million for Fofana and make sure that I have a right centre back, or Chalobah is going to have to play, and I'm going to have to keep Reece James at right wing back. Obviously, the odd game, when we're up against like a Zaha or a Vinicius Junior or a whatever, keep James at right centre back. That's fine. But yeah, in these games where you are attacking, you're not defensively worried. Yeah, go for James at right wing back. So I do actually back James at Leicester. Because also I feel like there will be a bounce back from Chelsea, just how I feel like there might be a bounce back from Liverpool. But the issue with Liverpool is it's not that it was a tactical error. It's the fact that they've got so many holes in their defence. And not the defence, purely the defence, but the fact that Matip and Konate are out. Matip is a leader at the back and is key to their defensive format. And then Konate's come in and sort of taken the brunt off of that when Matip gets injured and stuff. So the fact that they're both out then just leaves Gomez. Gomez is supposed to be their right cover now at right back and hasn't played centre back next to Van Dijk for over 2 years. So they're in shambles about playing with each other. Then in the midfield, they've got Fabinho, who lacks fitness. They've got no Naby Keita. They've got no Thiago to help them control the ball and beat the press. So they're all over the place. And that's what's making me think that although they've got a good game, annoyingly.
Is it just me? Is Barham's audio cutting out for you, Dan?
Yeah, Barham's audio is cutting out.
Oh, Barham. Oh, no.
Oh, we said it 3 times in a row.
Oh, wait, I didn't even clock it until just then. Oh, God. Well, there we go. Right, okay, so it'd be good banter if we now just went, that was a terrible point, BB. You just couldn't argue back. We were just slating his whole ideology. No, I mean, obviously, they were good points.
How do you feel about a double up on Liverpool defence? I mean, they have got Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I've got, and it's what I'm going to stick with, obviously, for this Bournemouth game. You don't get rid of them before Bournemouth.
Yeah, you know what? To be fair, I could just get rid of Doherty because he's a bit of a virus. He's played 3 minutes. That is a bit of a red flag.
Is that it?
Am I back?
Baron's back.
Back.
I don't. Again, BB's back.
Joe, you're such a fucking.
Wait, did you hear us after you'd gone? We said it like 3 times.
It was actually really weird. It was really weird because I could hear everything that went on. You guys didn't cut out for me, but I had no internet. Like the Fantasy Premier League website stopped working for me. Like I just no internet, but I could still hear you guys.
Oh, ain't that terrifying?
I could hear Dan's poor reasoning for why he would get rid of Doherty. Because of nothing else, but just because Doherty's been a bit of a shambles.
Well, I mean, also he doesn't play football.
I do have a bad feeling he's gonna start at some point, but you know.
Well, you just don't know when that's gonna happen. I think he's an easy move on.
Dan, get rid.
I mean, there's lots of options. You're in a good position where you've got an easy person to get rid of, and you can bring in a lot of exciting people.
I'm thinking off the top of my head. I'm looking at Rico Henry.
No. Why don't you just move Doherty onto Saliba, bank the 4.6, he's going to go up in price, take that, and then just move Saka on for like Gundogan. Or Zaha.
That is a -4 hit.
Yeah.
But then that's the whole thing. Getting rid of Saka when Saka is Fulham at home. But that's the thing. Maybe my ballsy strategy is to just not do transfers. Well, it's either that or wild card. I mean, it's like
just take a -4.
It's either make no transfers or change your team entirely. There's not a middle ground.
Take a -4, man. Like, it's not that deep.
I mean, it's like, how do we feel about Eze away at Man City? To be fair, Eze got a good match rating in his last game. He didn't get a goal or an assist, but he got a good match rating.
He got some bonus points, didn't he?
What was his XGI? I'll have a gander.
Did you see his bonus BPS?
What happened?
He got a monster score, without any returns.
His monster score, he got 3 points.
No.
Yeah, in the BPS.
Yeah. Oh, God's sake.
Yeah, I mean, he did get a bonus because he's so good.
He got a bonus without having any returns.
His XGI was 0.35, so I imagine a lot of that was from ball carries or winning the ball back.
But his XGI was 0.35.
Yeah, 0.35. That's not very good. So
but but it doesn't take into account chances he created that weren't executed with a shot. Yeah.
How much of that was XG?
Hang on.
He's not a goal scorer, Dan.
No, it was good before, according to Dan. There it is. 0.15 of it was XG. No, sorry, 0.2 of it was XG. 0.15 of it was XA, so roughly.
But I honestly don't back Eze to score ever. He's gonna have a career drought from now on. But he's
just, that's the thing. Palace do like to score sometimes. Fingers crossed against Man City.
To be fair,
yeah.
I agree. That fixture I have nailed down as a difficult fixture for Man City. I backed Palace in that game. That's one of the reasons why I don't mind getting rid of Haaland.
How have Palace been away this season? How many games have they played? 3, but as in away. How many of those have been away?
They played Liverpool away and drew 1-1.
That's Liverpool, to be fair. They've been a bit rubbish.
Liverpool have been shown.
Well, I mean, they had Arsenal at home, which was a close game. And
they had Villa at home.
Did they beat Villa at home?
They beat them 3-1.
Yeah, that was just this week. Palace and Fulham, I'd say, solid. As in, if they're at home, I'd back them. Away, Palace are a bit different because they can counter-attack.
Yeah, they'll park it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just sort of see City trouncing them.
Well, that's the thing. It's about what you logically think versus what could just surprisingly happen, which isn't necessarily all too surprising.
City sort of had their slack moment. They're not like a City aren't like a Chelsea or a Spurs or an Arsenal or this sort of like they're a machine. They will only have a few slacky floppy games a season, and I feel like they've had their wobble, and now Pep will kick them at the arse, and that's it. Palace are going to be trounced at the Etihad. Job done.
No, I disagree. I think Newcastle were just pretty good. I don't think City did that badly. I think Newcastle were just really energetic and fought back. I think they just did quite well. So yeah, I wouldn't take much from that game and think, well, Pep's going to demand something.
I mean, I may as well get my team up for the first time to see it all in it.
Sure, just quickly then. I think in the press conference after the game, Pep was just like, "Yeah, I mean, what a great game." I don't think he wasn't angry at his lads in any way. He was just like, "Yeah, fair play, man. It was pretty wild."
Do you not reckon they'll be riled up the fact that Liverpool dropped points as well?
I think they won't be thinking of Liverpool as competition because they'll just be like, "Well, they're rubbish."
No.
I think I'll just quickly. I mean, no, I won't actually. I'm gonna make that's something I can do tomorrow. I'm gonna make a video on should you get rid of Haaland because I've got some things to say on that. I'll leave it for now. Go on, Dan. What's your team?
I just.
You just said you were gonna do it.
No. It's not about that. It's just about FPL's doing very FPL things to me.
No. Oh wait, are you on about you can't get it up or?
Oh God!
Oh no!
Guys.
If I can't get it up, if you mean my team's performances, then yeah.
Look at him sharing.
I don't mean the other time.
Yeah, I just chose to ignore that.
That wouldn't be in the context, right? Come on in.
What can you say?
Your screen.
Hey, this is a bit slow.
Click on points.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
No, it was right there. Points.
There he is. Right. Okay. Oh. So that's not all in screen. Oh.
What do you mean?
Well, you can't see all of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
You don't need to see your bench.
Yeah, all the points. You're fine.
So I'm on 44 points.
That's fine. So just talk us through your differentials, Dan. So I mean, you played Neco Williams for.
Well, actually, I tried to start Doherty, but if we look here, that is so depressing. He didn't play again.
Right.
I love that he's averaging 1 minute a game. But even if he did average 1 minute, even if he was actually churning out 1 minute a game, he'd be on 3 times the points.
He'd have tripled his score. Right, okay, so what are you thinking with regards to the Forest defence, Dan? Because they've conceded the most XGI in the league and they're looking hopeless.
Neco Williams isn't a starter for me. Yeah. If anything, it's a kick in the teeth I didn't have this guy as second sub because I wouldn't mind him. I just that kind of thing, I guess, think. Oh, no, yeah. My whole thing is I have never backed the Forest defence. I've backed Henderson. Because even when BV said in pre-season, what about Neco Williams? I was like, nah. I'm not about Neco Williams because I'm not about defence. I'm about this guy.
There he is at the back four.
Even
Henderson,
if we look at him, 4 points, 3 points, 14, because the one thing about Henderson, he is pretty good. So if we look at these saves, he's got 18 saves. He knows how to rack up some save points. So the fact is it softens the blows on the blanks. And then when they do actually keep a clean sheet by some fucking miracle,
that was a miracle.
You can get a few goals, you can get save points.
I mean, the penalty saves are effectively luck of the draw. So you lose those saves from that on most other days.
Yeah, but what is a penalty save plus 4 points?
Well, let's work back here. You got 14 points and 3 bonus, so 11 points without bonus. 4 points. Well, one of those points was save points, so that's 10 points. 4 points for a clean sheet. But
he did get a yellow
6
card.
points. Oh, and he got a yellow card. So yeah, 5 points for a penalty save.
5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he got the yellow card point as well.
Right. But, if he didn't get that yellow card with that penalty save, that's 10 points. So, Yeah. Now, he is what it is. But he's a kind of a set and forget. I'm just going to stick with him because I back my judgment. Now on the rest of these players, Eze was a fun punt. And
you say was. Are you not going to keep him?
Well, it depends. If I was wildcarding, not necessarily. But the thing is, too, Zaha was my chosen player as king of the game week, non-premium king of the game week. And he got 12 points. It's just a shame that doesn't really mean anything to me. Well, it means something to me, just not
in your team.
I think you could have done... You actually would have been way more points up if you did Saka to Zaha.
Yeah, I think you see, Saka is the real virus in your team because he's locking up a lot of money. You're not identifying the right virus. It's like your child's got a disease, but you still want to spend time with him. You got to quarantine him. Did you not know his price had gone down?
I mean, I'm not surprised, but I didn't know. It's a good thing I'm not trying to be the best in the league. Well, I am, but it's a good thing it's not.
That's a quote. You're not even trying. It's game.
No, I am.
We've not even got to Gameweek 4 yet. And he's given up on the league.
No, I mean expectation. Like my expectation going into this season was, admittedly, somewhat of an underdog. Now the team.
we broke him. We broke him over 2 seasons of FPL.
I spent a lot of time.
You said at the start that you wanted to change opinions and get yourself to the top there. That can change. I didn't
want to get myself to the top, but here we are.
Oh, do you know something? What with us, obviously, creating content and stuff, you've actually got to play the whole season. Then you can't give up this time.
Oh, he's not going to give up.
I didn't give up last season.
You gave up the season before.
That's fun. But that was.
I didn't give up last season.
Yeah, no, last season he had a hope.
Well, yeah, that's it because you did all right last season.
What do we think about that?
Well, I think you're playing because there's a chance he mega hauls in those games.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to stick. To be fair, that's what I said to myself before this game. I was like, it's not looking good, bruv, but easy set and forget. So set and forget him.
Why is everyone saying that quote? What does it mean?
It's not looking good, bro. Yeah, I don't know.
Where has it come from, Dan? Do you know the origins?
Obviously, I know what it means. In terms of where does it come from? I can almost hear the tone of like whatever memes I've seen it on.
Sorry, go on.
I can only just imagine Sam. He was saying that constantly.
It's not looking good, bro.
No, all I think of is Arsenal fan TVs. He's got to go, blood. It's quite similar, but it's not the same.
Thanks for that input.
Yeah, just telling you where my mind was going to. Yeah.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah. So Dan.
Big man thing, yeah. It's this one. It's me.
Man thing, yeah. It's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good.
No.
Wait, is it Giggs? Is that Giggs?
It looks and sounds a bit like Giggs, yeah.
Dan, do you know who Giggs is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ryan.
It's Ryan.
No. I know who Giggs is. See, the thing is, so my gut with this team right here, usual Dan, what the typical Dan would do, it would be very, very Dan to just wild card and just, make wholesale changes. But I'm really trying to turn a new leaf. I didn't do it with Kane, and he punished me. Maybe I just, apart from you're kind of a virus, this guy here, Doherty, but I do have a free transfer. And then maybe you just think, Liverpool, Bournemouth at home, Bingy, Arsenal, Fulham at home, Oh, but I don't know. I almost need to lie down and speak to a therapist after playing FPL because it does things.
Right, so let's.
Week 3. Week 3, the podcast has got to this.
He's already pretty much weeping, praying for psychological help. Oh, God. Right, no, Dan, this is fine. You have 2 problems in your starting 11, and they go by the names of Eze and Doherty. Now, how are you going to deal with those problems?
Well, what's BV's assessment? So I want your guys' opinions. You know, I feel like I want you two to speak on my team. I want a little back and forth between you two on what the fuck I've done.
I think you're wild card. I think you you're the wild card. I just give up.
This isn't very constructive.
No. What do I actually think? I think you either do something semi-drastic.
To be fair, I will say something. In my first season, where I got in my 2 highest performing seasons I've ever had on FPL, I wildcarded the last game week, so game week 3. If I actually stuck with those teams, I'd probably also be like rotten. I don't think I've ever started the FPL season amazingly. So yeah, maybe I do wildcard on that.
I just think you got to go with your gut, Dan. I think you got to play FPL how you play FPL.
Oh, to be fair, my gut is kind of unreliable because I remember in the 17-18 season, you know, you boys weren't playing FPL back then because believe it or not, I'm the most experienced FPL good guy player. I've been playing for 5 years. That's not great writing. But in the 17-18 season, I remember when I thought Manolo Gabbiadini, Kelechi Iheanacho, I stuck both of them in my front 3 up top. I thought they were going to be world beaters. And boy, was I wrong.
But you're way more experienced at actually FPL then. That's just sort of a FIFA career mode boy playing fantasy football.
You're talking about FPL decisions you made 5 years ago and they're casting shadows on your current decisions. Come on, lad. You're a new man. You're meant to be an FPL expert.
Look, putting on my FPL expert cap, what I'm going to do.
It wasn't on before.
Oh, I can't believe... When did Saka go down in price?
A little while ago, man.
Got to say.
Let me put on my expert cap and prove how little I know about FPL.
Right. Okay. My expert cap is on. Realistically, taking a deep breath and really thinking about this. I never start seasons well, but that's okay because my first wildcard, I'm not afraid to early wildcard. And I think for you viewers out there, because I have the audacity to give advice in a situation like this, you know, take the journey with me and we can wildcard early together. It's not a big deal. So I'll look at this and I think Saka, I love the lad.
This isn't FPL experts. You're not. Why are you making the decisions you're making? You're just saying that you like Saka.
No.
You've got nothing to back it up.
I'm throwing a butt, and I was going to say, realistically, if I was a man to shake things up, Haaland, you're gone. Saka, Eze, Doherty, Robertson. Oh, but
I think if you're wildcarding, you probably get rid of Robertson.
Yeah. Wait, how have Bournemouth done so far? One sec. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look on transfers because you can look at any player you like.
Do you know, Bournemouth actually haven't conceded very much XG. They're actually thinking like the 4th best team in the league.
What about their XG going forward?
It's pretty bad. But defensively, they've been weirdly good. But I don't think they've faced very good teams. What did they face? They faced Villa. Oh, they did face Man City. Yeah, they've had a Man City fixture in there, and their XG against is actually not bad. Let me pull up the stat quickly. So that might not make Salah as good a captain as people are thinking that he is for this week.
Oh, Jesus, I forgot we've got to do captains.
I mean, I'm still going to captain Salah, to be honest, but...
I have burnt a bit of money. Doherty's 4.8, so 0.2 there. Robertson's lost 0.1, so that's 0.3. Saka's lost 0.1, so that's 0.4. I have burnt $500,000, basically. Factoring in, I'll probably get a couple of people who've gone up the price, but I guess that's it.
Yeah, so sorry. Bournemouth obviously have had a Man City game where they concede 3 or 4 in that game? Is it 4?
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, and they've got the 5th best record for expected goals against. So they've actually done surprisingly well defensively so far. So if anyone's thinking about not picking Salah for captain this week, I think that's your argument right there, because Bournemouth haven't been terrible. Sorry, Dan, what were you saying?
What's Fulham's XG conceded?
XG conceded, they're about mid-table.
What about Crystal Palace?
XG conceded, they are also about mid-table, a bit worse than Fulham.
To be fair, Villa at home is a worse fixture offensively than Fulham at home, isn't it?
Are you talking offensively or defensively?
Offensively. So I'm talking Arsenal play Fulham at home this week. Is that a noticeably better fixture? Is Aston Villa at home next week a noticeably worse fixture?
Aston Villa at home is a great offensive fixture.
Aston Villa are crap. Actually, what happened tonight with their game against Bolton? Last time I checked, they were 1-0 down.
Oh, Aston Villa are so shit. They're terrible.
And who do Crystal Palace have next game week? Man City away, obviously, this game week. And then how's Brentford at home?
Brentford are actually not doing too great. They're roughly mid-table.
For XG against?
Yeah, they're a little bit worse than Palace. They're about the same as Palace.
Villa ended up winning 4-1.
Oh, fair. Oh, that'll probably do them some confidence, actually.
But so they made 5 subs. They brought off all the front 3.
Ooh.
Ings, Coutinho and Watkins, and brought on Leon Bailey, Archer and Ramsey.
Did Bailey get any returns out of interest?
Bailey did score, yeah. But so did Danny Ings, a penalty. So did Douglas Luiz and Luca Dean.
Interesting.
But yeah, they actually played a full. They played Martinez in goal. They played Dean, Mings, Chambers, and Ashley Young, and they conceded to Bolton.
That's not great. But I guess it's not concert. They've been playing concert.
Yeah,
it's still not great. Right, okay. Not gonna lie, lads. We're approaching an hour, and I kind of need the loo. Should we wrap it up with our differential kings of the game week?
Can you not just mute and turn your camera off?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, no, because the podcast is rough. Like, it's been an hour, lads. Let's have an hour.
Yeah, but you did not phrase that great. It's like, oh well, I do need the loo, so I guess I need to wrap it up.
Well, no,
you had me at the hour point, and then you mentioned the fact that you were going to the toilet, and I thought, well,
I'm going to the loo, so can we wrap this up?
This is solving 2 problems for me. We might as well.
Dan, we haven't planned what you're going to do here. Have you got any?
I'm gonna go to the loo. I'll be back.
Okay, Dan, let me talk to you man to man.
Okay, yeah, you can talk to me man to man.
Right, without that other prick here. So, my brain tells me what you should do is not do anything overreactive. You should just stick with the plan, use your transfer because it's been a rough week. Maybe move on someone like Eze. How much you got in the bank?
Well, do you think Eze's the right move?
Well, I think Doherty isn't going to play, so actually, move on Doherty.
Let's say Doherty's gone. I could bring in a Rico Henry.
Against who?
Well, I mean, this is off the top of my head. I'd obviously do digging, but this is just based on like what I've seen and what I've watched.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, you could bring in a Henry
because he also has some attacking threat too. Everton at home, that's not bad. That's really not bad. I could bring in.
Bad.
And I
bring in a Rico Henry. He's only 4.5 currently.
Yeah, bring in a Rico Henry for Doherty. And to be fair, I'm all for an early wild card, but it doesn't feel like this is the right week.
No, bring in the Rico Henry.
Because realistically, Robbo might go on a wild card, but Bournemouth at home, Liverpool, even with their decreased form, they're going to get one clean sheet, and they are due one. And it's like, I look at Saka and think, okay, he's not setting the world alight, but he's getting a little more XGI. He's probably against a Fulham at home, which could concede a few goals. He's probably due a turn at the goals or assists, if you get me. Like, looking at one-offs.
Dan, also look at who else you could get at that 8 million mark. Not right now, but later. Look at who else you can get with 8 million or under. What you could do if you sell Saka and do take a hit, and what you can do with the funds in terms of, you could go from Saka to someone, I don't know, someone either at the same sort of price point in terms of like a Gundogan, who, if you look at,
spread him. I'm seeing between. I like Gross.
Yeah, you could go for a Gross, and then you could go for like a Tony up top.
You could even go to Rodrigo, man.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is essentially I'd probably get rid of Doherty for Rico Henry. And what I'm thinking is, does this seem like the right week to wildcard?
No.
That is what you said to do before.
I know, because that's just because I wanted to see him fail. But now, I just think I think we've come with the plan. The plan is to bring in Rico Henry. Because Rico Henry isn't he's not a stunning move. If it doesn't pay off, or we think that there's other avenues to take, I think currently we don't know how Liverpool are going to react as well. They could have a sort of bounce back effect and things. I think you give Saka the game week against Fulham, you give Robbo the game week, you see what happens with Haaland minutes wise, and then if it doesn't look good, I think you're already close to pushing the button, and you push the button next week, and you do it in a less reactive state.
Yeah, because the thing is, I'm just thinking in a world where I just suddenly think, because off the back of admittedly an atrocious game week, I think I got like 7 mil game week rank. We mustn't lie to ourselves here. I just think, based on the kind of decisions I've sometimes made in the past, which have been quite volatile, we'll say, and got burnt for it, can I see if I wipe some of these players out my team, Robbo gets a clean sheet against the Bournemouth, maybe even gets an assist or pulls something. Saka, after being quite Fulham at home, gets in on the act. That seems quite reasonable, and then I get burnt from that. Henderson's my set and forget, so I probably won't get rid of him because that's what a set and forget is. And then Eze, Crystal Palace's Gallagher. Hasn't Gallagher got hauls against City before? And I know that, what's his name? The guy who supposedly only scores worldies.
Andros Townsend.
Yeah. Like, there's been a couple Palace players that have, that aren't just your Zahas or...
There's a precedent.
Yeah. Like, realistically, I could see a world where I wildcard and then I'm absolutely kicking myself. So I'm very close to pushing the trigger. I don't think this is the week to do, but I probably will.
Could you do one thing for the podcast listeners, though, Dan? Could you make a team that you would have wildcarded with if you were to press that button, and then next week in the pod we can compare what your would have wildcard team be?
Okay. Team. This is going to be...
No, you don't make it now. I don't want you to make it now.
Okay, yeah.
I can't be asked to sit through that. But make it, post it on the Instagram, the Dan would be wildcard team.
Oh yeah,
we could all knock one up, to be fair, if we wanted.
If we all care.
No. I rate this idea because obviously I am close to pushing the trigger, so it would really either strike me or soothe me.
You were close to pushing a different kind of trigger early on in this podcast.
I do have something to mention. I do have something to mention about Gross, because Gross just got thrown around there. I do fear for Gross in a long-term aspect, because basically Trossard was playing wing back before, but now basically as I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, Estupan, Esteban.
Oh, yeah, the Estepinian guy at left wing back.
Estepinian, yeah. He's come into the team now, and he's got minutes in his legs now. I think recently came on for like 60 minutes or something like that in the last game, and it looks like he'll basically come into the limelight more and more now. It basically means Trossard has now then obviously pushed back up to his further forward position.
Second striker, yeah.
And Gross will obviously tuck in more. So I don't know. I mean, Gross. The good aspect of Gross was those late runs and stuff. But I do think Trossard could be someone that is going to be overlooked. He ended the season well last season.
No, Trossard originally, I was actually back into having in my Gameweek 1 team, but then I switched out to Neto at the time because Neto could do a similar thing and he was a mil cheaper. So it was just the fact that Trossard was 6.5 mil and your Netos and then later Baileys were just so much cheaper. But if they were like bouncing around similar price brackets, even like, Trossard I actually backed, it's just that then they were cheaper. I wouldn't
fear for Gross, but the fact that I now know he's not on penalties and McAllister is, does take away a big aspect of what I thought was going to be his XG. So, yes, I do fear for Gross after this most recent game.
I think that's good analysis. I'm not keen to get rid of him pre-Leeds. I think
Leeds.
They've been
where
good.
Are they on the XGC chart?
Let me browse that. I mean, after that Chelsea game, they won't be. They're about mid-table.
Really, I've actually heard. I thought they were really good for shots on target conceded and stuff.
Let's look. Where is goals conceded? Mins per X goal conceded. That'll do. Yeah, they're about mid-table. I'm not sure what. I'm not going to talk about that stat because I just don't know what it means.
Oh, go on, say it.
I mean, it's XGOP, whatever OP is.
Over performance.
Oh, open play.
Open play.
So Leeds have conceded the second most goals conceded from open play in all of the league. So that's actually really bad.
Did Chelsea score against them?
No.
Leeds kept a clean sheet.
But I actually think, on XG wise, they were fairly equal.
Aronson scored against them, didn't he?
Yeah, that was because of Mendy.
Because that's the thing. I was actually, because obviously I went with Eze in the end. I was eyeing up potentially in Aronson. I just didn't go for him because I was thinking Chelsea's not a good fixture. That does not seem like a fixture you punt on. Then Leeds went into spank.
Harrison and Rodrigo do look a bit more attractive though, but if you haven't got the money, then probably pick Harrison.
I mean, it was just classic variance. Variance is going to happen.
Well, I mean, to be fair, when I was picking Eze, I was priced out of Gross, who's 5.6 mil. So yeah, I wasn't dealing with riches.
Right. Should we do our differential of the week?
Yeah, that's great. Whip up, get the spreadsheet up. Do you have it on your Beaver?
I do.
Joe's got it. We don't need to share screen now. I reckon just write it.
So a quick run through of last.
Why can't you share screen? Just share screen.
And it makes us all small on the Skype thing.
But then we can see it too.
That's right. Well, just quick. So last week, BV went for Trent for a nice big fat 0. I picked a Gabriel Jesus, which got me a chunky 4. But Dan, who went for Wilf Zaha, got a nice 12.
Well, that's just so shit because my actual game week was utter dog. And it's like, oh well, that's great. I can pick it's almost like I was using my brains for that. In like there was only so much brains to go around, so it went to actually do well. I just ran out.
Nice.
Well, so go on, tell us what the cumulative points are on.
All right, so BV is set on 6 in total.
Good ad from Trent today. Contributed.
Yeah. If I just take a second to add up all of BV scores, he's on 6. I am also on 6 after my 2-pointer from Bowen in game week 1, so a huge start from myself and BV. But Dan is nicely sat on 16 in total, so 8 points on average so far. It's not bad. It's not amazing. It's not bad.
8 points on average per decision. Christ, if only my actual team was anywhere near that.
Right. I know who I'm picking.
Joe, who is it?
I'm picking Ivan Perisic this week. I'm picking Perisic because he's playing a Forest side that concede an awful lot of.
Oh, I hope he doesn't do that, being a Henderson owner.
A Forest side that concede a lot of XG. I think Spurs could very well spank them, which is a good reason why I wouldn't mind bringing in Kane this week. But obviously, I can't pick Kane because we're looking for sort of.
Well, it depends. Are we doing Joe? Because obviously the viewers won't know. Suggested a potential rule where we can only pick one player once. If we're doing that, then I reckon we should be able to. I don't reckon we do that.
I think I will. I don't want to pick the same player twice. That'll just be a little fun game for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Well, I'm picking Ivan Perisic. What are you guys thinking?
Done.
I'm just looking at the fixtures.
Right. I'm picking Ilkay Gundogan. I mean, what sort of key to my pickings with Ilkay Gundogan is hoping that Haaland doesn't start against Barcelona, and he does start the Palace game. Because what I think happens is that everything has to go into the middle when Haaland plays. It's just sort of how they're looking at it. It's almost like how when Van Persie went to United and like Rooney and the boys got shouted at by Sir Alex Ferguson for not passing in the ball. Like I feel like the same is happening there, where like there is now a transition to the way City play, and like they've brought Haaland to score goals, get him the ball. And the thing is, because it's almost not clicking, it's almost working in Gundogan's favour, because he's just mopping up scraps. He's just in there, because he's doing that role that he used to do when he played that sort of false nine, but he's now deeper in midfield, and he's just going for those late runs, and he just keeps going to the box. He's City's vice captain now, or captain, one of them. So it basically means either him or Kevin De Bruyne are basically always guaranteed to be on the pitch. And yeah, I just think against Palace that might sit deep, he could just be there, just in the box, just bobbling around. Kevin De Bruyne trying to slot those balls through, and he's just a runner. No, I think there'll be a back post goal for him or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Gundogan. I kind of wish I went for Gundogan early. I did back him for a while, but yeah.
It's a decent shot, to be fair. I think the issue with Gundogan as well is going to be his rotation. So you're hoping for that, but
I'm hoping he starts. I mean, if he doesn't start, I'm going to put a mini disclaimer. What has it done?
I could even potentially go for a Trent. Obviously, BB's used the Trent.
wait, BB wasn't finished. What were you saying?
Yeah, well, my guy just cuts you off. Just mid.
Yeah, go carry on. I was looking at this.
No, I forgot what I was going to say. Carry on, Dan.
You're talking about Gundogan. No, I'm not carrying on now.
No, carry on. What happens if our if our differential just gets no minutes? I guess it just happens that he gets no minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, you get 0.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's not a good differential.
But I guess you don't know what the lineup's going to be on a Monday. Well, what's this, a Tuesday? But you could know come Friday, come press conferences.
That's just an L on you.
Yeah,
We've all got the same rules against us. It's just that it happens to disadvantage you more, which I'm personally...
Gundogan it is, but realistically I'm picking the number 8 for City.
I've written Gundogan, you're not having that.
You can't have that. Yeah, well, just first of all, that's a great player. Let me just transfer in the number 8 for Man City.
Right, come on then. What are you saying, Dan? For your player. Don't tell me you've not made your mind up.
I could go for Trent because Bournemouth. Do you reckon Liverpool will finally? What do you reckon the chance of Liverpool finally keeping a clean sheet are?
Quite good. More than 50%.
I'd say
To be
50.
fair, being double Liverpool defence after 3 conceded in a row. But that's the thing. Consistent returns can sometimes put you off. And you'll know about that, Joe, because you felt the same way before. But it's true, because players have purple patches. Players do well. Go like that. So if you just add this, it can't go on forever. And likewise, if you're a team like Liverpool and you've had a slump, Liverpool aren't suddenly mid-table mediocrity, and they're certainly not relegation scrappers. They're not even just clambering for top 4. They're a good side. And there's got to be some give. Every team has a little bit of good, even in a bad spell. Do you get me? So, surely Liverpool are due a clean sheet, and especially against Bournemouth at home. And if they are, and then if Liverpool avoid being dog shit, I think Trent can do great, because then I think he can also get an assist too, and maybe some bonus. It's just that Liverpool have been dog.
So are you going to pick Trent?
Yeah, essentially, I'll pick Trent. I'm just
going to
finally beat.
Nice. Okay, so 2 defenders and a midfielder from the good guys this week. Baron, you've gone for 2 defenders so far. Dan, you've ditched your midfielders plan. You've gone for a defender this week.
A Spurs fullback. To be fair, the only silver lining now, well, I say silver lining, is because I didn't go Perisic originally and I went Doherty, it meant I could afford Eze, who, thinking about it, performed worse than Leon Bailey, so it doesn't seem like much of a silver lining. It's like a double whammy, so that just completely invalidates what I was just saying, my point.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Would you have played Eze, Dan, or would you have played Pereira? Sorry, not Eze, Bailey. Would you have played Bailey, or would you have played Pereira?
I don't know, because that's the thing. Even though Neco Williams was my first bench for whatever reason, there is no way I would have started him first, because I would not have started. I was adamant that I was not going to start double Forest. And once again, I ended up coming on and having double Forest starts. So you can really see why I'm not doing great, because,
I was adamant, and then he just did what he was adamantly against.
I just can't execute on my strategy.
Right. Is there anything we've missed? So, you're captaining Salah, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm open to captaining Haaland if I know he's going to start. But if I don't, or there's a question of his minutes, if he plays like a good chunk of the Barcelona game, or ideally I just wanted to not feature against Barcelona. But if he plays 30 or more minutes against Barcelona, then yeah, I'll just stick with Salah. He's a guarantee, any.
I'm a Salah man. I'm sticking with Salah. I should have stuck with. Oh wait, to be fair, Salah didn't do anything last game week. So what am I saying?
Hey, did he got a goal? Scored.
No, I meant game week 2, but that's me not saying what I meant accidentally. Yeah, I'm a Salah man. At Bournemouth home, yeah. It's a given. Salah's definitely my captain because I'm a Salah man. I'm a loyalist.
Before we go, I do a key thought I had this week when I actually watched the games from the eye test. Can we have another thing that I want to add if we can?
The eye test.
Yeah.
The eye test. Keep an eye on this player. I'm trying to make a fun with eye test.
Oh yeah.
Keep an eye on the eye test. I don't know, something like that. A player that I saw recently. He's not an ultra differential or anything. It's Kulusevski. Kulusevski was the best player for Spurs by a country mile when I watched the Wolves games. Yeah, he was just everywhere and just like creating and having chances and taking people on and actually trying to churn stuff out. I do think Richarlison will start, but I actually think Son will be the one that gets dropped. Son's just looked off the cusp completely, and I think you can't drop Kulusevski in the form that he's in because he's just working hard and just like the fans. Whenever he gets on the ball, the fans are like, yes, come on. Whereas like the other Spurs players, they don't respond as much. It's only really like Perisic, Kane and Kulusevski where they're really like, oh wow. And it's Kulusevski, which is the majority there, and Perisic, it was his home debut, so you expect that.
Yeah.
I do think, if I had Saka there, and I was looking for someone to move off onto Spurs are, Kulusevski's there.
Do you think Kane's a good pick? Just as a side note. From that game,
Kane just sort of pops up out of nowhere and just gets a goal, realistically. But he does that so consistently that you can't even bat him for it. He didn't really look that involved throughout, and then because he's just playing his deep role, and then there you go. He's at the back post on a corner and just nods it in. And like a goal like that, it's obviously like he's going to rack up the XG. It was like a 0.8 XG chance for this sort of stuff. So all of this stuff factors into like.
Oh, that's the point. Actually, to be fair, of how it's not necessarily as code red. Like Saka's XGI has been all right, but it's all about looking at past XGI. Because this reminds me of when I actually brought in Ismail Assar for that success. Because you've got to learn from your past mistakes and success.
When do we tap out this pod?
Yeah.
Carry on.
My point is that on the build-up, because Watford weren't scoring any, obviously they didn't have much XG or XGI. So that just because it's a lot about fixtures too. I'm done with my point because it's kind of
Well, sorry, I know this is the introduction of this weird segment that I've just.
So what does expand on? What
is there anyone?
Eye testers.
Pardon?
Expand on what keep an eye on the eye testers.
It is. Oh, I kind of liked it when you said it though. It actually sounded quite good. It's just a player that, not like our differential of the week, that we don't necessarily presume they'll score massively this week or anything, but just like someone that you've seen that you think might be being overlooked, and you've seen it with your own eyes. Forget the stats, forget any of the XGI or like their opponent or any of this sort of stuff. Just who's looking good, like how you saw Eze down last week.
I didn't see him. I just saw that what the One Football app has live.
Exposing his analytical reasoning and stuff.
This is a new feature that the One Football app have added into the player ratings throughout games. They'll now have live player ratings above all of their heads on like the lineups, which will just fluctuate and change live throughout the game. So you can see kind of throughout the game, if you trust that they're not full of shit with their match ratings.
Is that the new feature?
Yeah, because it used to be. This is a new feature from the One Football app. I've been
match ratings. This is the new feature.
Wait, no. What I do is when I
do you care about how it changes during the game?
When I look at player ratings at the end of the game, I'll look on a handful of sites to get a good gauge, and I'll read what they're saying about them. But yeah, on the One Football app, a new feature that they've just added is that, well, I'm pretty sure it's just added, but it's new. Is that the player ratings fluctuate above their heads throughout the game, so you can see how the players are doing even before they've got on the score sheet or got an assist, because obviously that massively bumped them up. And I don't know, I was just looking at that even before he was involved, and he didn't get involved in a goal and assist, but he was doing well. He was a shining light. And when I paired that in with what I saw the week before, when I was reading about Patrick Vieira said that Eze's playing phenomenal right now. To be fair, I've got to keep faith in him, because if Palace do something, it really wouldn't be the shock of the world to see Eze bag a goal, because he's playing well.
I think that's interesting, but in honesty, I think your expected goal and expected assist data is so much more valuable than match ratings, because it's going to take into account pressures and how hard he was working. Did he win headers in the midfield? That's not going to bring you much with regard to your FPL point. I mean, Eze's XGI in that game was 0.35.
To be fair, I think you can.
0.35. So you just wouldn't want Eze.
Not overlook.
I just want to say that I don't care.
Okay. But anyway,
what's your eye test player of the week, man? I don't care about this.
I think that you can. I'll just finish what I was saying.
Yeah.
That you can look. I love underlying stats. Okay, I'm all for them. I think they're really detailed and interesting and all that shit. But I do sometimes think that you can.
You don't sound like an advocate. I'm not gonna lie.
I do think that sometimes you can look too much into them. And I'll give a player off the top of my head that I saw when I was really digging in XG and understats and XG tables. I remember seeing like, oh, Pulisic. Like, this might have been a season ago, probably a season ago.
This was the infamous wild card.
And I was looking and I was thinking, hold on, when he plays, he can put together a run or this, his XG per 90, XGI or whatever this. And it's like, this looks really promising, good. But sometimes a player can have all the... It's like a guy with like a weak mentality. He can go to a nightclub with all the designer brands on and all this in that. But some guys, you just know they just don't have the sauce. You know, they can wear all the right things. They can have cash in the bank. They can drive a Ferrari, but they're a wet wipe and don't get far. So sometimes XGI, while it's great, you can get some wet wipe players, and you've just got to be wary of them.
Oh God! So that's why Dan uses match ratings to decide who he's bringing into.
No, I'm just saying it's why, like, I sometimes will use that to back up. You know, I'll be like, look, this XGI is great, I love it, but you know, tell me they're not a wet wipe, please, and to give me peace of mind.
Eye test of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got one. Do you not have one, Dan?
What did I?
Please, Joe.
Right,
give it your eye test of
my
the week.
one is Marcus Rashford. He took his goal nicely against Liverpool, obviously, and he just looks, you know, like a buzzy guy. He was pressing, and I'm thinking back to the Brighton game as well, in Gameweek 1. He was there at the back stick. He really should have got something from that game. And as well, if he keeps starting up top, we don't know what Ten Hag's plans are. But if Man United can turn a corner and start putting some decent results together and at least good performances together like they did against Liverpool, I think Rashford could start to become really nice value at 6.3 mil in the midfield as well, especially. He's out of position. So any goal he scores is obviously more valuable. So Rashford's
Agreed.
one I'm keeping a bit of an eye on.
That's a good one. Joe, Dan.
Yes, a player, because I actually didn't, because I was in work and stuff, I actually didn't watch. I was in for a lot of the Saturday games, which would have been more interesting to me, and I was like doing whatever the hell. So I didn't actually watch any games last week, whereas the other two I'd watched a couple. But if I, from my eye test, all I'll say is from the games I have seen, Arsenal's play, man, they look so silky in attack. That's not from last week. That's from the first couple of games, and certainly I know.
Better not be Saka.
But I don't know which player. Maybe you could say Xhaka. He could be getting forward a bit more for his price point. I probably wouldn't bring him in, but for only 5 mil, if you were points per million.
Hate it.
Points per million, he's probably going to do all right because he's not going to be a world beater. But he's probably going to do more than just the CDM that he was priced 5 mil at. So he might perform how you'd expect a 6 mil midfielder to perform, which still isn't a world beater, but it's better than a 5 mil midfielder should. But yeah, keep an eye on the Arsenal attack. They're silky smooth. Yeah. That's not updated from last week because I didn't watch any. But I will watch some games eye test probably if I'm available to.
Lovely. Right. Well,
I've just got one thing to say about Xhaka. Obviously, I like the shout based on what we've seen so far. We've just got to consider Fabio Vieira, maybe hopping his way into the team at some point, and has got an all right chance of taking Xhaka's spot.
I'm not bringing Xhaka.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
who plays next to Xhaka?
Odegaard.
No, who plays next to Odegaard? Who's their
Saka?
fifth midfielder? Who's their fifth midfielder?
Oh yeah, who do they play?
Who's the other one in the two?
Partey.
Has he been playing? Xhaka's been attacking. What's been their
Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard.
Have they been partying?
Is it Partey or is it Lokonga?
3 of Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka.
Is Partey back from injured?
Sure, I mean, I'll be able to just.
Let me just check the lineups quickly. I remember just seeing somewhere that they thought Vieira could do Xhaka in. It is Thomas Partey. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, Partey won't get the sack.
I tell you what, though, one thing. What did we think about the fact that I wasn't expecting an Odegaard goal and assist? I say it with a positive inflection, like it didn't just take away the players I actually wanted to. But like
he scored twice.
There's been so much talk of him being the assister. But that just shows anything can happen. So get back in your lane and I'll bring on Saka.
All right. On that note, should we wrap it up there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Lovely.
It's been great seeing you all again.
Right. Thanks for watching, fellas.
Yeah. Au revoir.
Goodbye.
Farewell.